Smoke, scream, static crackles through broken radios. Hundreds of men are trapped in the ruins of a Dutch town, cut off, surrounded, waiting for help that never comes. But this isn't a story about enemy brilliance. It's about command failure. Someone up the chain made a decision, one that doomed them before they even landed. Maps were wrong. Intel was ignored. Confidence turned into arrogance. The operation was supposed to end the war faster. Instead, it became one of the worst military disasters of World War II. The shocking part? It wasn't the Germans who caused it. It was us. How did a command trusted by millions lead thousands straight into a trap and then hide the truth for decades? The answer lies in one operation that history tried to forget, autumn 1944. The Allies were winning, or so it seemed. After Normandy, after Paris, confidence filled every briefing room. Commanders believed the enemy was broken. They wanted one final strike to finish the war before Christmas. The plan was bold, even brilliant on paper. A massive airborne assault deep behind enemy lines. Paratroopers would seize key bridges across the Netherlands. Armored divisions would rush through to reach Germany's heart. The mission's name sounded heroic, even divine, Operation Market Garden. But beneath that confidence hid cracks no one wanted to see. Field reports warned of heavy German resistance regrouping in the area. Recon photos showed tanks. Tanks command swore didn't exist there. Weather forecasts predicted fog, storms, chaos. Still, senior officers brushed it off. The enemy's finished, one general said. A single punch and it's over. Officers who spoke against the plan were ignored or replaced. Orders rolled down faster than questions could rise. The chain of command silenced hesitation. In London, maps glowed under lamplight. Red arrows slashed north through the Netherlands toward the Rhine. Behind those arrows were real men, young, exhausted, still believing the generals knew best. Across England's airfields, thousands of paratroopers packed their chutes. They joked, they smoked, they took photos with smiles that wouldn't last long. None of them knew that the intelligence reports sitting in command headquarters already predicted their destruction. One officer tried to warn his superiors. He had intercepted messages indicating 2 elite German divisions had moved into the drop zones. He was told to keep quiet. Morale first, they said. The night before takeoff, the weather turned. Winds howled across the airstrips. Pilots debated delaying the mission. The order came through anyway, proceed. At dawn, the engines roared. Hundreds of planes lifted into gray skies, wings slicing through mist. Below, villagers looked up, cheering, unaware they were watching men fly toward disaster. The command center hummed with excitement. Charts, radio chatter, cigars, optimism. A general leaned over the map, tapping Arnhem with his finger. "We'll be home by October," he said. Hours later, radio silence, then garbled voices. "Taking fire!" Missed the drop. Where are the tanks? The operation that promised to end the war had just begun, and already it was collapsing from within. Headquarters looked calm. Papers shuffled, voices stayed measured, but underneath panic was spreading. Reports from the front made no sense. Whole units were missing. Bridges marked as secured were still in enemy hands. The truth was starting to leak in piece by piece. Before the operation even launched, several intelligence officers had tried to stop it. One, Major Brian Urquhart, warned that 2 German SS Panzer divisions had regrouped near Arnhem. His superiors dismissed him, calling it paranoia. They pulled him from duty. Others had questioned the air routes. The paratroopers were being dropped miles from their targets. Command claimed it was for safety. In reality, it was poor coordination between air and ground forces. Documents later revealed even worse. Commanders had deliberately ignored ultra-intercepts that confirmed enemy strength. Those messages were buried under classified tags. They were never shown to the men going in. Some historians believe there was pressure from above. Montgomery needed a quick victory to prove British command could lead the final push into Germany. American advances in France had overshadowed him. Operation Market Garden was supposed to be his redemption. That pressure drove blind confidence. Failure wasn't an option, so doubts weren't allowed. Inside briefing rooms, optimism replaced honesty. When reconnaissance photos showed enemy armor hidden in forests, one senior officer said, "Those are probably decoys." When pilots reported anti-aircraft batteries near drop zones, another replied, "The Germans are retreating. They won't risk confrontation, but they did. On the ground, soldiers quickly realized something was off. German forces reacted faster than expected. Radio frequencies jammed. Supplies dropped miles away. Entire platoons were pinned before reaching their objectives. Command back in England received distress calls, but refused to believe them. The official line, hold position. Reinforcements are on the way. Reinforcements that never came. Some veterans later said it felt like a setup. We were sent to die, one survivor recalled. The enemy knew we were coming. They were waiting. Rumors began spreading. Someone had leaked plans. Others whispered about internal sabotage or miscommunication among Allied commands. Nothing was proven, but too many coincidences lined up. Then came the cover-up. Reports from field commanders describing chaos were rewritten before reaching London. Radio transcripts vanished. Public briefings called the mission a success, in part. In truth, the operation had collapsed in days. Thousands were killed or captured. The so-called worst command wasn't just a tactical error. It was a chain of arrogance, politics, and denial. And behind that silence, a darker question grew. Was this just incompetence, or had someone decided that truth was too dangerous for the public to know? The sound of gunfire echoed across Arnhem. The air smelled of smoke and wet earth. Allied paratroopers huddled in basements, outnumbered, low on ammo, cut off from the world. Messages kept going out, broken, desperate, requesting air support. No response. Enemy tanks everywhere. The radios crackled with silence. Command was gone. By the third day, the operation was in ruins. Bridges that were supposed to be taken in hours had turned into fortresses. German reinforcements poured in from every side. The British 1st Airborne Division fought block by block, holding out in shattered buildings while waiting for armor that would never arrive. Meanwhile, miles away, American and Polish forces struggled to cross flooded terrain. Tanks bogged down. Convoys destroyed. Entire lines of communication failed. In London, generals refused to accept what was happening. Reports labeled as temporary setbacks. Publicly, they spoke of steady progress. Privately, they were losing an entire army. On the ground, reality was brutal. Medics ran out of bandages. Snipers hunted any movement. Villagers risked their lives smuggling food and water to trapped paratroopers. One Dutch boy later wrote, "They fought like lions, but they were already ghosts." As days turned to weeks, survivors tried to break out through the river under enemy fire. Only a fraction made it. Others were captured or killed in the ruins of Arnhem. Years later, buried in the British archives, documents surfaced. Reports marked top secret, do not distribute. Inside them, investigators found orders proving that command knew about the German divisions before the mission began. Entire pages were redacted. Declassified memos revealed that dissenting officers had been silenced to preserve morale and political unity. In one chilling line, a senior official wrote, "Casualties acceptable if strategic victory is achieved." But there was no victory. The discovery didn't come from generals, it came from historians decades later. Diaries of soldiers, hidden letters, and Dutch eyewitness accounts exposed what official records tried to erase. One of the most damning findings came from intercepted German transmissions. They confirmed the enemy had known about the operation days before it started. Someone leaked details, routes, timings, drop zones. To this day, no one knows who. Families of fallen soldiers demanded answers. Governments gave comes the first casualty. Historians still argue about what truly went wrong. Some call it a strategic overreach. Others call it needed heroes, not truth. It's a brutal reminder of what happens when leadership becomes performance. When pride takes command, logic dies. Military experts today still study Market Garden as a textbook failure. They use it to train officers in the importance of humility, listening, and doubt. Because in war, they used to change history, staring into the river where so many of their friends disappeared. No speeches, no medals, just silence. Official records call the operation ambitious, but the survivors remember it as something else, a warning. A reminder that courage means nothing when command loses sight of truth. History writes its heroes in bold letters. But the real story hides between those lines in the orders that never should have been signed and the reports that vanished before reaching the public. Operation Market Garden wasn't just a military failure. It was a moral one. The kind that echoes long after the guns stop firing. Because every war leaves more than ruins. It leaves questions, and one still lingers. Who knew the truth and chose silence? But the truth still buried beneath Arnhem may change everything we thought we knew.